Good morning, and this is Mesquite today, and I'm your hostess, Terry Narens. For those who don't know me, can't imagine there's many who don't. You've seen me around town plenty, between working for the paper and working for Walmart and doing theater and everything. I know all about what's going on in Mesquite, and I'll be able to tell you. I hear a lot of people saying that there isn't anything going on in Mesquite. They come here and they can't find anything to do. Well, the trouble with that is there's a lot to do. It's just where to find that information is scattered among a dozen and a half websites, Facebook pages. It's all over the place. So I'm going to put it all together for you in one central location. Let's talk first about some of the things that there are to do, not regularly scheduled things, but we have Polaris World. They do adventure tours. You can rent the ATVs. They'll take you out in the desert for a day long. I think they have overnights, weekend adventures. You might want to check with Polaris World. They're right at the top of the Hillside Avenue, or Hillside Drive, right past the high school. We also have the Donkey Rescue in Scenic. Now you have to make an appointment 24 hours in advance, but everybody is welcome. It's free to the public. They just want you to go out and love and pay some attention to these poor donkeys that have been taken off of BLM properties. Let's see, at the beginning of COVID, or just prior to COVID, I think, they had almost 350 donkeys that were brought out from Fort Irwin. And they were on Fort Irwin as a training base in California there. So these donkeys were on the ranges where they were doing the training, and apparently a bunch of them were getting in the way of some of the targets. And the military men were afraid to do anything because they didn't want to hurt the donkeys. So they called in Mark Myers. Mark Myers is the founder of Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue. And he set it up. He came in, he pulled all those donkeys out, and he took them into scenic Arizona, where all the people out there on the donkey rescue, they've got one side that is just for the new donkeys that come in, so those are more of the wild ones, and they're not tame, but the people work with them. They get them used to people, they get them more tamed, and then they move over to Joan Dunkel's side of the rescue. And Joan does the adoptions. She does handle a lot of the foster donkeys, a lot of the donkeys that aren't eligible for adoption. She keeps them, some of the senior donkeys, some of the more crippled donkeys or ill. She keeps them, and they have a forever wonderful home out there. And they just love to get attention from people and to give lots of love back to the people who come in and see them. They love carrots. They love sweet potatoes. They love their little animal cracker cookies. They ask that you don't feed them too much, because with all of the visitors in all the time, that could get the donkeys a little bit sick. And they have digestive issues when they get too much of their veggies, and we don't want to do that to Joan and Nancy and everybody else that's out there. That's terrible, but we don't want to do that to the donkeys either. Anyhow, but you're free to take out, some snacks. It's $30 a month to foster a donkey, and that gives you the ability to go to set up an appointment and go out and spend some one-on-one time with your donkey. And then you can spoil him or her all you want to. We have a camel safari in Bunkerville, and Guy Seacless, who started the camel safari, originally came down from Washington. Now, he had a camel safari up in Washington State, and it was doing really well, but that's not really optimal weather conditions or climate conditions for the camels. So Guy came down here and he found Bunkerville, and he started setting up, and the place in the last several years has grown phenomenally. They used to give camel rides. I don't believe they do that anymore. You'd have to call and find out for sure. But it was getting a little rough on the camels. I think the desert heat and everything puts a huge strain on them. And I will tell you, if there's anybody who spoils their animals more than Guy Seacliff, I would be surprised to find them. Guy loves those animals. And then Rosenmoor, which was down in Overton, a zoo down in Overton, they had closed up a while back. And Guy acquired several of their animals. He's got a sloth, I know of. He's got a mixed breed kind of zebra. I know he's got some emus out there. Be quite honest, it's been a while since I've been out there, so I don't know all of the new things he's got, but I know he's got a lot more animals out there than just the camels anymore. That is a great place to take your kids if you've got visiting grandkids. These camels are awesome. I've been out there several times myself, and I just absolutely love to play with the camels. They're all up on you. They like to give kisses and cuddles. They're like big puppy dogs. It's just wonderful. So we've got a busy week this week. It's Monday. And this morning, as we speak right now, they're probably teeing off in the Mesquite Senior Games Golf Tournament, which is a 2-day tournament. That is going today and tomorrow. You can visit www.mesquiteseniorgames.org and find out more information about that. I believe since Mesquite Gaming sponsors them, they're probably playing at the Casablanca golf course. So you might want to take a run out there if you like golfing, see what those golfers are doing. And I know they're out there having a good time. They're definitely in competition for who's the best golfer at this point. See, we have a lot of programs in the Mesquite Library. The library is open. Most of their programs are running full force right now, I believe. Let's see, they've got the story time going on this morning. They have their adult coloring class this afternoon, and they have the bereavement group still this evening. The Mesquite Women's History and Culture Center today has their Writers Critique group. And apparently, I don't know if anybody knew this. Oh, there's a wellness and healing group also run by Ray Romney, who is with the Women's History and Culture Center. I will publish the entire calendar in the comments section after the show, so you'll be able to refer back to that and come to it any time during the week and see what's going on any given day. I didn't know this, but there's a Fine Arts Photographic Society. And there is a class today. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Mesquite Fine Arts Gallery that's located at 15 West Mesquite Boulevard, for those that don't know. And then tonight we have Little League starting. So we've got 2 games. We've got a game at 5, and we've got a game starting at 7:30. We are running, Raise Mesquite took over the concession stand this season. So we were in there on Saturday stocking it with all kinds of chips, pop, soda, or pop, water, Gatorade. We've got Otter Pops. We've got different chocolate candy bars and some fruity stuff as well. Skittles and Starburst. So we've got plenty of snacks. Oh, and these pickles in a pouch. I don't know if I've never tried a pickle in a pouch. But the lady who ran the concession stand last year says, or the year before, last year there wasn't a concession stand, but the lady who ran it in years prior said that they were a huge seller. Kids really loved the pickles in a pouch. So we have those back this year too. Prices are reasonable. concession stand will be open from 5 to 8. So if you come for that second game, be sure to hit that stand right away because it won't be open too much after the game starts. So let's see, what do we have going on tomorrow? Tomorrow is a huge, huge day. There are so many activities. Of course, we've got the COVID testing for those of you who, may feel that you need to be tested. Mesquite Fire Department, number 1, that's located right behind City Hall there. They're still doing the COVID testing. They've reduced it 1 day a week. I'm sure you read that in the Mesquite Citizen Journal. 8 to 9 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, so they're giving you an hour for COVID testing. And don't worry, it's been considerably slower lately, which is why they reduced it to 1 day a week, so I don't think there's going to be any ridiculously long lines for you to have to wait in. So if you feel the need to get that test, that's where you can get it done tomorrow morning. And then we have the toddler story time at the library, book clubs. Mesquite Fine Arts Gallery has started up their brown bag luncheons again. They're doing those. So tomorrow at noon, if you want a great talk on some works of art or a lesson in something to do, check out the Mesquite Fine Arts Gallery. Grab a sack lunch, go to the gallery at noon, have a seat, and sit for an hour and listen to their wonderful speakers. They've done all kinds of things from picture stampings to hieroglyphs to photography to hummingbirds. They had a man and his wife in there a couple years ago that did a wonderful, wonderful book on hummingbirds, and some hummingbirds had nested on their back patio, so they had video of them from the time the eggs were laid until the time they hatched and left the nest. It was pretty fascinating. So those talks are really good. That was one of the few brown bag luncheons that I had attended, but I wanted to hear more. When the hour was up, I wasn't ready to leave. I wanted more of that. It was really great. We have the technical review meeting tomorrow at City Hall, 1:30. They do it virtually as well, but I don't know if they videotape it live. Sometimes you have to wait for them to upload the video a little bit, but a technical review meeting is where they go through the agenda that for the following or the upcoming city council meeting, which is held on every other Tuesday night. Opposite that, they do the technical review meetings, get the agenda items all set and ready, and between technical review and city council, all city council members have a chance to study all the topics and everything, so hopefully they're very well informed when they make the decisions on what's going on in the city of Mesquite. You have drawing class tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Fine Arts Gallery. This is run by somebody other than Bunny Wiseman. Bunny used to run them. I'm not familiar with the person who's running the classes right now, but they've got the drawing class from 2 to 4, and I have seen some of the work that these artists have taught their students, and it is phenomenal. I drop in quite often. Haven't in this last year, but I was a frequent visitor to the Mesquite Arts Gallery, and I love to watch the classes and the people as they develop their talents. It's really amazing. We have one gentleman who actually went in he said he was not even able to draw a stick figure when he joined one of the drawing classes, and this one happened to be Bunny Wiseman's class, but he said that by the time he was done with working with Bunny just for a year, he had entered the art gallery show. He actually won a competition. He's a wonderful, wonderful artist, and displays quite often, displays quite regularly at the art gallery. And there's a lot of people like that, believe it or not. It doesn't take talent to draw as much as it takes desire and technical skills. So, talent, don't get me wrong, those who have drawing talent, I'm absolutely amazed at. And there are some that do have that natural talent. And it's easy for them, but if you don't have that natural talent, don't worry. You can learn. You can learn to draw. Bunny Wiseman says, give her a pencil and piece of paper and a student who doesn't think they can draw, and she'll teach them to draw. She's completely confident in that. And I've seen her do it, so I have no reason to doubt her. She also teaches pickleball. By the way, pickleball, the rec center has got pickleball going almost every day of the week. Someday they have classes for beginners, experts, and that'll all be in the calendar. I have the pickleball hours and everything written down for you. But I've been in on the pickleball classes too, and there's one instructor there, he says, put a paddle in your hand, I could teach you to play pickleball in 5 minutes. I've yet to take him up on that. I had some hip issues, couldn't really run around a court too much, could barely even walk. So, I haven't taken him up on that yet, but I intend to. I'm going to go see. And then, John Sadler is one of the instructors in pickleball. Bunny Wiseman's an instructor in pickleball. They're both excellent instructors. I've watched them, both their skill set while they're playing and their absolute utter patience while teaching. So, it's not a bad thing. Pickleball's great. It's popular. I will tell you that I was warned that during high season, when all the courts are open, there may be a little bit of a wait because there's so many people that want to play, which leads us to building more pickleball courts in town. The city's working on that. You can follow City Council and Mesquite Citizen Journal. I'm not getting into any news here. Barb does a great job with the news. She covers all that, so you keep watching that, or keep getting all your news there at the MCJ. Can't compete with what works so well, right? So, but they don't do the calendar now, so that's why I'm here. What else do we have going on? Let's see, at the rec center. We were talking about the rec center, so let's see. They've got all kinds of classes going on at the rec center all day, every day. They have early morning blast as well as the pickleball. The early morning blast is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5:15 a.m. to 5:45 a.m. So you've got 1.5 hour. They usually pick 3 or 4 exercises for you to zap through, start your day, and go about the rest of your day and your business. Just that quick, in and out in half an hour. I think it's $5 fee for non-members, and it is free to all members. You've got your spin classes. They still got plenty of spin classes if you like getting on a bike and getting motivated. I've watched a couple of the spin classes actually during the time that we had theater rehearsals and stuff going on. There's one of the spin classes that goes in the evening. They play all kinds of great music, get you pumped up and everything, and people are on there and just go, go, go. But if you're a morning person, Al Littman, our mayor, he still runs his early morning spin classes, 7:45 a.m., Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's at the Deuce building that's over the Jimmy Hughes campus, 150 North Yucca Street, and that right there is right next to suite number 10 is right next to the community theater there. They've got that little bitty parking lot in between the theater and the rest of the building, and that class, the spin class, is right over off of that little parking lot there. And Al charges $50 for 12 classes, and you don't have to take those 12 classes all together. You don't have to take them 12 weeks in a row. He gives you a punch card, and I think a lot of the programs work that way. They give you a punch card, so your 12 classes, you get a punch each time you come. If you only want to come once a week, well, then you get 12 weeks of classes. If you want to come twice a week, you've got 6 weeks worth, and it works out that way. So he'll just punch it. It's not an everyday thing, but if you want to get fit and healthy, I'll tell you, look at Al and his wife. They're both very fit people. Phyllis dances too, but I mean, for 70 some years old, both of them, they're in great shape. Partially because Al runs his fitness class 3 times a week. He's a spinner. He keeps in shape that way. So, again, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:45 a.m., 150 North Yucca Street, suite number 10. $5 if you just want to drop in. You don't, if you haven't decided whether or not you want to take classes, pay $5 and go try it once. You really can't lose. So, I mean, the benefit is always there for the exercise. And then the Women's History and Culture Center. Center is open. You'd have to check with Carol Salvador or Jean Watkins. They do have limited hours right now, but once things open up, they'll be open a lot more often. Women's History and Culture Center is a great place, and they're not competing with Mesquite Library or anything, because who can? But they have a lot of great books that focus strictly on women's issues, women who have put forth some magnificent contribution to history, to science, to the military. They've got women in almost any career that you could possibly read about. And they've got a lot of books for young girls and women to help motivate you. Excuse me. And find some things that you might be interested in. And go in there and give it a try. There are some very notable women, not only in those books, but some incredibly notable women who not only volunteer to run the place, but you can't get better than the 2 notable women who actually did the place. And Jean Watkins is the founder, but Carol Salvador is her vice president, and the 2 of them have an incredible history. Carol was a military, she was in the Air Force, I believe it was Air Force, and then she was a police officer or corrections officer for many years. So they have quite extensive backgrounds, and Jean Watkins was the first woman engineer for AT&T, and she's got quite the story to tell about her experience in being a woman in a world that is completely dominated by men at the time she broke into her career choice. So you can learn a lot. The 2 of them advocate for women. This 2020 was the 100-year anniversary for women in their right to vote, for earning the right to vote. I know Jean and Carol had a whole plethora of things that they wanted to do for that year, and unfortunately, because of COVID, a lot of that stuff was shut down. But they do have a lot of information on the 100-year anniversary, the suffrage movement, and women gaining the right to vote. So if you want to check out any of that, they're open. And again, they do a couple of classes. Ray does the health and wellness, or the Reiki classes, and they do health and wellness coaching. They have the writer's critique group. That's at 2 p.m. I'm not real sure about how that group runs, whether you write on the outside or anything. That would be something you'd have to go check out. But if you love to write, these women will give you nice. Nobody gets mean or anything. This is positive critique on your writing skills, your style, and your presentations. Things like that. You can get some great tips. And not be afraid to share some ideas back and forth with some other writers. So, I am going, let's see, Wednesday we've got a lot of preschool beginning watercolor classes at the art gallery, intermediate watercolor classes at the art gallery. We've got the story times again at the library. Thursday we've got the mystery book club at the library, adult coloring club, the STEAM activities for kids from 4 to 5 at the Mesquite Library on Thursdays. And we also have Al-Anon at the Mesquite Library on Thursdays. So, can check those out. STEAM for kids. Boy, after a day of distance learning, and now, or a year of distance learning, and now going back into the classrooms and stuff, I don't know. I hope the kids are adjusting okay. It's got to be quite a transition for them. But the STEAM activities, if they're not finding that school's giving them enough to do, STEAM activities are great. Every Thursday from 4 to 5. And they do a variety of science experiments, 3D printing. They've got all kinds of stuff for kids at the library. I mean, more than I can even mention on this, and I wouldn't even want to try to because I'll start tripping over myself as I start reading about it. But yeah, the Mesquite Library is fantastic. If you have not taken the opportunity to go check out our new library, it is amazing. I haven't seen anything like it. When I was a kid, I wish we had a library like this. They've got a little section where they've got all kinds of costumes and stuff. Kids can play dress up and pretend and make believe. I don't know that they're doing that with COVID because I don't know how they can sanitize it. But once everything is up and running and back to normal, that library has got so many wonderful things to offer. I highly suggest you spend some time there. Even to take your child there for an hour and let them go crazy. Not really go crazy, it's a library, but you know what I mean. We have a social art group on Friday mornings, and that is a wonderful, wonderful day at the art gallery classroom. It's from 9 to noon on Fridays, and you don't have to do anything in particular. It is not a regulated class or anything. They're not teaching anything. This is where you can come in, bring your project, sit down, have some 3 hours of quiet time and plenty of space to work in. Or you can kibitz with the women. There are some fantastic women that join that. They go in, they work on their little bead projects, some work on drawing. Linda Taylor goes there. I know she works on paint projects because I have one of her beautiful sunflower pictures that she gifted me a couple years ago. And they go out to lunch afterward. I think it's like a 3, 4, 5 hour social time for these ladies, but they have a ball doing it. And they always welcome new members. I mean, the more the merrier, always, right? They have card making for adults at the Mesquite Library. So if you've ever liked to get into stamping or embossing, I don't know, printing, 3D printing or whatever, they can do all that stuff and put all the little decorations that you make from the stamps, the little 3D print project, can be glued. It's card making and cut out paper. They probably have a variety of different things you can do. A lot of people use the Cricut system to make homemade cards. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to teach you a lot of different varieties and styles of cards to make. So that is from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday. So again, it will be in the calendar in print, so you can reference back to it. This Saturday coming up, we have the annual Scenic Betterment Communion or community annual cleanup. And this they do twice a year usually. It's sponsored by the BLM and the Mojave County Erase Program. They put the dumpsters out at 7 a.m. They don't want you to, it's not for your personal items, not for personal household items or furniture or anything like that. What they want you to do is if you have an ATV or a four-wheel drive and you're able to help, this is when everybody who lives in the community gets together, they take off on the trails and they just clean up the desert. This is where we live. This is our land. We want to keep it beautiful. We want to keep it clean. And we want to keep it healthy for the creatures that live in the habitat. We don't want some poor animal coming by and getting stuck by some broken, or getting cut by broken glass, or a spring sticking up, or a nail sticking up going through them, or getting caught in them, or rope tied around them and stuff. So many bad things happen when people throw trash out into the garbage, and it doesn't, or throw trash out into the desert, and it really doesn't hurt anything but the aesthetics as far as we go, the human beings, but you're hurting a lot of the animals out there. So Saturday they have the opportunity to get together to go take care of that, and that is the three locations they're going to be at Highway 91 and Scenic Boulevard. So right at the beginning, before you get into Scenic itself, coming off of Old Highway 91 or Hillside Road all the way down, they'll have dumpsters set up there and groups meeting to get going. They have a group that is going to, and a dumpster that will be set up at Las Vegas Way and Scenic Boulevard. That's by the water towers down there. As you just go past the Scenic store, you'll see the two water towers. They'll have dumpsters set up there. And at Elbow Canyon and Western. So as you go all the way up Scenic Road, Elbow Canyon is, you come to a stop sign, you can only turn right. That's Elbow Canyon Drive, Elbow Canyon Road. So you go all down Elbow Canyon till you hit Western. And that's down all the way, actually, by the new fire station down there. Pretty close to where you turn in to go to the donkey rescue. So those dumpster locations will be set up, and all you do is grab your ATV or your pickup truck, you'll go out your way into the desert, load it up, come back, and you've got a dumpster to offload to. Well, I think they usually have some people at the dumpster sites itself to help you unload your trucks and all of that, and to make sure that people aren't coming with their household items. So, we have Family Craft Day at the library on Saturday. That's from 11 a.m. to noon. And, boys, girls, moms, dads. Well, boys and girls, grab your moms and dads. How's that? And drag them on down there to do something fun for an hour at the library. In the afternoon, 1 o'clock, Mom, send the kids over to Grandma's because they've got adult movie time at the library. So that goes from 1 to 4. And on Saturday night, the Mesquite Republican women are hosting Patsy Cline Reinvented. It is a show with a dinner show. They have the check-in time is at 4:30. Dinner is at 5. I have some ticket information and the contact information that will be available in the calendar. You can check. The tickets, I believe, are $35 for members of the Mesquite Republican Women and $45 for non-members, if I remember correctly. I don't have that information in the calendar, but I did read it. And Sunday, we have an ongoing, Sunday, they're actually not even going to be open Sunday. We do have some ongoing events. We have the Little League games. Again, they go Monday through Thursday nights. They have one set of games that starts from at 5 o'clock, and they play till 7:30. Then we have the second set of teams that starts their games at 7:30 until 9, and that again is Monday through Thursday. So go on out and support these little athletes, these great, wonderful little athletes. We had a bunch of them out there on Saturday, a couple of families that were out there Saturday. They were practicing. A couple of the kids are soccer stars, but this is their first year in baseball. So they wanted to make sure that they were ready for the games starting today, so they came out and practiced on their own. And you had four of us old ladies trying to haul all the sodas and everything into the concession stand. So these kids they were wonderful. They just kind of stopped and what they were doing and came over, and we had a dolly that was stacked with like 6 cases of water. Started grabbing the cases one by one and running them into the concession stand for us. And we didn't have to ask. They just did that on their own. They were great. We got some great kids here in Mesquite. And they are playing baseball. So if you don't have anything to do in the evenings and you're tired of TV and you want some fresh air, come on out and support these kids. They're great kids and they would love to see you. Let's see, what else do we have? We have let's see, Mesquite Fine Arts Gallery. They have all throughout the month until April 24th, they're doing their bazaar. Now, if any of you have ever checked out their holiday bazaar, they do around Christmas for the whole month of December and usually through the beginning of January. All the artists get together and they display their wares. They've got a ton of things, from pottery to jewelry to purses to printed scarves and material, printed cards, bowls, baskets, you name it. Pictures, paintings, photography, everything and anything you can imagine that can be created by an artist. And I don't know, some of the stuff you can't imagine because only the artist was able to. They've got a ton of stuff, and that will be on display and for sale. They're great for unique gift items. If you've got birthdays coming up, anybody who's always got that one person who's just got everything in the world and you never know what to get them, something unique and original is always a great idea because you guarantee they'll never have another one like it now or later. And you're supporting your local artists. So a lot of artists, they say starving artists, but some of these guys make their living off of this, and they're our friends and our neighbors. So when you buy local, you support these local folks. And what handmade gift item isn't always valued and loved? So anyway, I think that's about all we've got going on for the week that I can tell you about right now. I have some interviews scheduled for later this week. We've got the Mesquite Toast that are coming. I think 5 or 6 ladies agreed to do an interview, so we'll have them live. Their show is coming up, their Spring Spectacular, so we're going to talk about that a little bit in the interview and a little bit more about why some of the ladies are a toe, why some of them got involved in the dancing. They do it for many reasons. Some do it for the love of performance, which I myself understand the love of performing. Some do it just for exercise, and some do it for a social experience. So, it's a very personal experience for everybody, and we're going to have some of the ladies who do that come on and talk about it, as well as what's going on for their oncoming show, and who their guest stars are going to be, who their MC is going to be, and that's all coming up. And that is their yearly fundraiser. That's their big event for the year, is their spectaculars. I have talked to Wes Bolger, so we might have some city council stuff to talk about, and not newsy stuff on city council, but pretty much some of the focus, some of the ideas that City Council might focus on. Maybe Wes is getting some ideas from you guys on what you'd like to see in Mesquite. I'm certainly going to ask him some questions about some of the local businesses, what happened with COVID, how COVID has impacted our city specifically, how many businesses we lost, what businesses might be coming back, what we can do to help those businesses that are still here. I know we have affordable housing issues here in Mesquite. We have some businesses coming in too, so that would be interesting if you want to know a little bit about, the future of Mesquite. Again, like I said, this is not competing with any kind of news. MCJ does a spectacular job on giving you all of the updates on what's going on in Mesquite news-wise. I want to give you updates on what's going on in Mesquite event-wise and what you can do to stay active, stay healthy, stay fit, and stay sociable. One of the things that I've been extremely worried about through COVID is the lack of social activity. I know some people really, really need that social interaction to maintain healthy mental status. And some people can't be alone. Some people aren't comfortable alone. I'm not one of them. I'm perfectly happy being here. So you haven't seen me, and you probably won't see me too much around town because I don't do the mask thing, and I don't want to offend anybody either by not doing the mask thing. So that is, I'm perfectly happy to work in my studio here and do some virtual interviews, which I have been setting up. And let me tell you, it's been a 6 month long project getting this studio put together. Taking Toastmasters again. I told you on Friday I've taken Toastmaster classes or the meetings, entered speech contests, did some speech for the Toastmasters, public speaking. It's not easy to sit here and talk into a camera when you don't have anybody interacting or coming back and forth with. So I had a lot of practice getting used to this. A lot of virtual meetings with some excellent tech people, setting up my studio, my graphics, my commercials. It's been a project, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see this benefit all of you. Actually, this is where, again, I started doing the calendar for the Mesquite Local News many, many years ago, and because of COVID, it just never got picked up with the Mesquite Citizen Journal because there was no need. Well, now that there's a need, things are happening. Wasn't sure that the Mesquite Citizen Journal, we did try. We tried to do a Google Calendar, but after you put about 4 or 5 events into one day, then the calendar gets all nasty. It's so compact and so crowded, and there's just so many things on it. It's really difficult to try to discern or decipher anything that's in there. So the Google Calendar wasn't exactly the right way to go, especially on doing an online forum. So my thoughts were, well, if that wasn't going to work out, it was probably not going to happen with the Mesquite Citizen Journal, because what I'm doing and what I did for the Mesquite Local News, let me tell you, it may be only 5 pages of events, but I have to look at about 15 websites to find all that information for you. So going through all these websites and going to the places that I have to find the information, talking to the people to confirm some of the information is a project. It's a job. So um, probably wasn't going to be incorporated too easily in an online newspaper. But doing it as a separate event unto itself, or a separate entity completely, like doing it here on Mesquite today. You've got one place that you can go to, get all your information. You don't have to worry about it. It will always be there, so you can refer back to it. And you don't have to go to those 1 or 2 dozen websites to find everything that you need to know. Biggest thing that I've heard all year from people, biggest complaint is, an event would be covered. Mesquite Citizen Journal did. Linda Foss does a great job covering events. And Barb does a great job, excuse me, covering the city council meetings and all the other news stuff. But the events that were coming up we'd do a press release on them. We'd put out a press release, and that was about all, because, unless they referred back to that press release, if they even knew to refer back to it, or they caught the email that day, or happened to search it on our website, they didn't know the event was happening. And again, if you don't know what's happening, you don't even know what to search for. So it's kind of a win-win that we take this and put it onto another platform, so that you know where to go and search, and you always know where to go and search, and it'll always be here. And yes, I don't intend to do this forever for free. I will for a while to get it up and going, because it is a great community service for you. But I really do hope that if you find it beneficial, I'm not asking for a subscription price or anything, but if you find the information beneficial and you find it valuable for yourself, I have a PayPal account that will be, that is connected to this. If you want to donate $1 or $2 a month to keep this going, keep it supported, I have costs, and my studio costs me money every month. So, my time is valuable. But again, I don't mind doing this for you right now. It's needed. It's something that's here, and it's needed. I don't want to hear everybody say, well, I would have loved to see that event, but I didn't know about it. Well, now you've got no excuse. You'll know about it. You'll know about those events. You don't have to read about them after the fact and wish you had been there. You can read about it after the fact and say, hey, I was there. It was a good place. It was a good event. It was a good show. And then the more things that, start opening up, I think the community theater, Mesquite Community Theater, Virgin Valley Theater Group is getting ready. I know I've gotten a couple of hints here and there about them planning with their social distancing. The theater capacity is only at 50%. They're going to have to do reserved seating, but I know that they're working on that. Pam Sadler's now the president of the Virgin Valley Theater Group, and wow, boy, did they get to a good job putting her in as president, because she is always, as long as she's been with the theater group, there is nobody better when it comes to coordinating. Well, Patty Bjornson, maybe. Pam and Patty, yeah. I have to give it to both of them. They had everything planned and scheduled, and the dates written down, and they'd follow up on, when directors had to have paperwork turned in and this and that. No, their coordination efforts were the most invaluable thing we could have ever had in that theater group. And Pam did a lot of that, but she did it for directors and stuff as stage manager and everything. She did a great job. But boy, coordinating the entire theater, the group, and they managed the theater, and it's not just their group that performs in there, it's the Mesquite Toes, and T.C. Morgan's doing his comedy shows there and all kinds of things. So, Pam's good. She's really good. She can coordinate all that stuff with other shows. So hopefully, once they get everything all COVID ready and COVID friendly ready, then we're going to see the theater start opening up to some things. Here we go. The Mesquite shows Spectacular is the first. That's going to open the theater, and for the first time in over a year. Trust and believe, boy, I've felt the pain of that theater being closed myself. So, wanting things to do. When you're a theater person and you're used to putting in, 5 nights a week, sometimes 6 nights a week, from 6 to 9 or sometimes 6 to 10, you're putting in all that rehearsal time, and all of a sudden, boy, you don't have it. Filling up that 4 hours a night is a little daunting sometimes. I don't know. What did my theater friends do to fill up their time? I don't know. Kathy Bussman, I know she got into doing like home business stuff. She was making cupcakes and cakes and decorating, but she did a great job with that. Oh, she does such a great job on her cakes. But I don't know that the cakes were giving her enough, because then she started doing like print stuff on like the cooling cups, the thermal cups. She did a whole bunch of them for one of the nonprofits in town for their golf outing, and she does like photo printing on mouse pads and probably a whole bunch of different promotional type of things. So she's doing that, and I saw the cups she did for the golf tournament, and wow, really fantastic. But then we've got a lot of local artists, a lot of local people who, during this year, they have done that. They've taken up doing home businesses, Me, myself, I'm into the hemp works. I found a group in Vegas. They make hemp works right here down in Las Vegas. The lady who started the company is down in Vegas, and, I had always kind of wondered about CBD and CBD oil and the benefits of it, but when you go to try it, CBD oil is mega expensive. It really is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's outrageous, to be quite honest with you. But it's not regulated. The fact that they want to charge $40 or $50 for a small, couple of ounces of CBD oil, that you have no idea how much CBD is actually in there. You could be getting a whole bunch of castor oil and maybe 3% CBD, which, does that benefit you? How do you know? With HempWorks, they do sell the CBD products, but they tell you it's all regulated, it's all highly managed, it's tested, it's tracked, it's traced from the farm clear to the laboratory. They will tell you how much CBD you're getting in the CBD you buy, and you can buy the CBD in different strengths. I think it all the way from like 250 milligrams up to 1500. They have pet CBD oil, and I personally use myself the CBD oil for my dogs. I've got 4 dogs, and one of them has got serious anxiety disorders. He's, but he was going to be killed before I found him and adopted him. He was going to be euthanized. He had been burned over 20% of his body because people who owned him before that treated him badly and pretty much abandoned him out in the desert with open sores, and he laid down in hot sand. It was 115 degrees outside. So he's got those issues, and although he is 8 years beyond all of that now, he's never gotten over quite the separation or the anxiety that came along with that really, really poor beginning for him. So I give him the CBD oil, and I'll tell you, as soon as and you can hear him barking right now, as soon as I pull out the bottle, I don't even have to open it or anything. He sees that bottle, and he comes, and he is sitting right there waiting for it. And all I do is I take the dropper, and I put it on the floor, straight on the floor. Whole dropper full on the floor, and he licks it right up off the floor. He will take it out of the dropper, but I don't want his germs and everything on the dropper and then put the dropper back into the bottle. So, but all my dogs. Now, that's Trooper, who absolutely loves it and comes for it, but all 4 of my dogs, I have no problem with them taking CBD oil. It's bacon flavored. My older dog, Pupper Dog, he is 14 years old. He's a Border Collie Australian Shepherd. He is not real bad, but you can tell he's got back joint issues. It takes him a minute to get up. You know, he still walks around, he still runs and everything, but I can tell the difference when before I give him his CBD oil for the day and after I give him his CBD oil for the day. It takes him about half the amount of time to get up afterward. I also use the CBD masks. They have facial masks that have 25 milligrams of CBD in them. We did a little bit of a commercial for those, which I will show eventually on the show. But I have to edit, cut, and put together the edits and that. Because you have to wear the mask for 20, 30 minutes, and I wasn't going to sit there for 20 or 30 minutes and wear the mask and just dead air space while I'm wearing it. So I cut the time and, redid it and all that. So, but I have ordered another CBD mask that I'm going to actually wear on the show one day. So get ready for me to look really ugly, because let me tell you, when I first put that mask on the commercial, it was so funny. I put the mask on, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't read the instructions too well. So I didn't read that it said, take off the first layer of mesh before you put the mask on, because the mask is actually really thin. It's almost like a membrane, and it comes between 2 layers of mesh, so that the mask is completely protected. Well, I knew that you had to pull off the top layer of mesh to form the mask and everything, but I put it on with the first layer of mesh on, and I looked like, I don't know, something out of the Frankenstein movie. It was seriously funny, but I'm not afraid to show it. And I had to take it back off, take the mask off, take that first layer of mesh off, put it back on, and then the mask, it actually just forms to your face. And I had a lot of dry skin that was coming in over my nose, being out in the sun, because I do a lot of gardening. I love my garden, love my flowers, my plants. So being out in the sun and everything, I started to get a little bit of sunburn. I was peeling on my nose, wearing my glasses. I get these red marks and then a lot of peeling. I put that CBD, and I had literally tried, I don't know, Noxzema. I had tried Vaseline. I tried all kinds of Nivea and hospital, level moisturizers and stuff. And as soon as the moisturizer dried up, the flakes and the peeling would come back. First time I put that CBD mask on, no problem. No problem whatsoever. That I haven't had any peeling. I think it lasted like 3 or 4 days before I got even a little bit of the dry skin back. So I ordered more. I'm waiting for the shipment to come in, but they should be in there today actually. So one day this week I'll probably get brave and go ahead and show you a side of me that probably most people would never see. Anyway, but that's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, so that's it for today. It's 9 o'clock already. We've had a great show. So you've now got the information. You know what's going on this week. I hope to see you out and about in the community. I will be at the concession stands, working for the softball league, or helping with the softball league, because I'm part of Ray's Mesquite, and Ray's is running the concession stand to earn some money for our nonprofit, which helps a lot of people with a lot of things, and mostly because of the efforts of Carly Toutant. I won't lie, I'm part of Ray's, but Ray's is all Carly. I help her out when she needs it, but boy, that lady is amazing in what she has done for the people in Mesquite. So even if you don't want to help out Little League, you happen to be driving by the park, want to grab a snack, man, the concession stand's open to everybody. You're more than welcome. All the money that we make off the concession stand goes to help support Ray's and the high school dancers, because they're not allowed to dance this year. They're not allowed to earn their own money through some of the venues that they normally had done. So they're going to be coming and helping us out at the concession stand. And because they're going to help us out, we're going to share the wealth. So you're helping two good groups if you come out and support that. So I hope you do. And until tomorrow morning, I am going to say goodbye. It was great seeing you. And please remember to like and subscribe. It grows the page. It brings us up more forward so that more people can find it more easily. I have a YouTube page as well, Mesquite Today on YouTube. You can look at it on either page. And until then, I'm out. Have a great, wonderful day. May it be filled with sunshine, love, peace, and many blessings. Bye.